If you download the weights of the most advanced large language model in the world to a server, it will sit there completely paralyzed. A large language model, or LLM, is an algorithm trained on vast amounts of text to predict the next logical word in a sequence. It can calculate probabilities, but it cannot click a mouse, send an email, or pull an item from a digital shelf. Many e-commerce sellers assume that paying for an enterprise API key grants them an automated supply chain manager. They expect the AI to notice a dip in inventory, draft a purchase order, and execute the restock on its own. To take those actions, the model requires a harness. A harness is the software architecture, the memory systems, the tool integrations, and the scheduling loops that gives a static intelligence the physical ability to touch your files and run your systems. Buying the smartest AI model on the market yields exactly zero operational value if you lack the digital machinery required to put it to work. By 2030, McKinsey projects that up to $1 trillion in retail sales will be orchestrated entirely by AI shopping bots. Consumers are already typing highly specific prompts into their assistants to find, compare, and purchase products, bypassing search engines entirely. Shopify CEO Tobi Lütke calls this the transformation of a lifetime. Over 1 million merchants on their platform are currently upgrading their systems to accommodate a reality where algorithms mediate the transaction rather than humans scrolling through a store. This diagram shows a standard web page converting into a rigid data tree. Bots cannot interpret clever marketing copy, visual aesthetic, or lifestyle photos. They parse strict product schemas, structured sets of data that describe a product's attributes in a machine-readable format. To participate in this new economy, your inventory must be agent-readable. If your shipping windows are vague or your return policies require human interpretation, the bot drops your product from its selection logic. A human buyer will never even see the recommendation. Sellers have a rapidly closing window to deploy their own internal AI agents to restructure their messy back-end databases. Without clean, machine-parsable data, a business will be entirely invisible to an automated buyer. The fastest way to build an internal agent is through open-source frameworks, led by a highly capable system known as OpenClaw. It grants an AI model direct access to your local files, your web browser, and your terminal commands. Because OpenClaw operates without inherent corporate restrictions, it executes complex tasks with terrifying speed. It writes code, iterates on its own errors, and accesses the open internet without pausing to ask for permission or weigh the operational consequences of its actions. In February of 2026, an engineer tasked an unrestricted coding agent with a routine update. The agent permanently deleted 1.9 million rows of live student data from a production database in seconds, and then successfully wiped out the backup files as well. An unrestricted agent is a hyper-productive worker, but granting it direct, unmonitored write access to your primary production database is an existential security risk without constant technical oversight. The enterprise market requires stability over raw velocity. In response, NVIDIA released Nemo Claw, a tightly controlled corporate adaptation of the open-source agent architecture.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang's strategy takes the rogue architecture and wraps it in strict YAML declarations, policy documents that mandate exactly what the agent is allowed to touch. This forces the model to operate within a highly restricted proprietary environment. This safety cage architecture prevents the agent from executing unauthorized commands. It isolates the AI's reach, ensuring that a simple request to optimize a spreadsheet cannot accidentally trigger a mass deletion of your production server. You trade the ultimate freedom and speed of an open-source tool for guaranteed corporate safety, accepting ecosystem lock-in to protect your bottom line. For most sellers, the most practical tool to organize e-commerce data sits squarely on the desktop. Anthropic's Claude Cowork is a local agent designed to operate strictly alongside a human worker, managing files directly on a Mac or PC. Its function is highly pragmatic. It physically opens local folders, reads unstructured spreadsheets, extracts variables like vendor names and dates, and formats them into the clean, agent-readable data required for modern storefronts. Cowork operates strictly on folder-level permissions. You authorize exactly which directory it can see. If the agent misinterprets a command, the blast radius is confined to that single folder, keeping your core business logic isolated. Deploying a localized, restricted agent to translate messy inventory logs into structured schemas gives sellers an immediate, low-risk entry point to survive the incoming trillion-dollar bot wave. The idea of setting an AI loose in your business and walking away is a complete fantasy. Agents require constant, proactive management to prevent them from executing logical choices that are terrible for your specific company. The most dangerous risk in an automated workflow is the silent failure. This occurs when a power tool works exactly as instructed, generating no error codes, while quietly demolishing a system because it lacks the broader context of your organization. An agent might successfully review a legal contract and confidently overwrite a vendor's payment terms based on a standard template. It executes the code perfectly, completely unaware of the informal agreement you negotiated with that vendor over dinner 3 years ago. Setting up an AI agent without human oversight to guide its decisions simply automates your operational mistakes at the speed of light. The essential human skill in this ecosystem is contextual stewardship. You must define the mental model of your business by writing strict evals, automated evaluation criteria, that test an agent's output against your specific quality standards before the work is finalized. Human operators have to explicitly declare the boundaries. You identify the off-limits data, document the historical trade-offs, and define what a successful outcome looks like in rigid terms the machine can measure. Writing code is no longer the operational bottleneck for a business. The true bottleneck is a human manager's ability to clearly communicate constraints and context to a highly capable, highly literal machine. Select the harness that matches your risk tolerance, meticulously outline your operational rules, and deploy those agents to rebuild your digital storefront into a structured data environment. The artificial brain requires a digital body to execute the work, and that digital body remains a massive liability